Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know whether you can discover something new or not.
Mm.
What you have learned before is different from what I am going to teach you lah. First of all, the third councils, only the records about the third council can only be found in Theravada's text.
Oh.
And not other Buddhist schools, that not in the actual archaeological evidence. It's not recorded in. That means that even Asoka's rock edicts never mentioned the council.
But Asoka pillar that's over already so long.
Yeah, he says sending Dharma mission, there's different issue, but not the third council meeting, you know. So you have to remember this. So what is the main source? The main source only from Sri Lanka Chronicle, especially Mahawangsa, that's all. There's even Mahawangsa is not a 100% historical record because it mixed with all the legend, fairy tales, this and that. Sister Visakha, your face is upside down, half sleeping or something like that. Okay, so if you want to know everything about third council, you can only find in either mainly Mahawangsa lah, or Dipawangsa. And these two texts were compiled in Sri Lanka, not in India. Dipawangsa a bit earlier, late 4th century Common Era, and Mahawangsa 5th century Common Era. Compiled in Sri Lanka. That's all. This is their so-called their semi-historical text, because half historical, half legendary. For example, when Mahinda and 6 others, because a group of 7 went to Sri Lanka, the 5 Tera flew in the air to Sri Lanka and landed in Matale. The other 2 non-Tera, one is Samanera, one is a layman, correct or not? All together 7 people. So can they fly or not? Because they say the 5 Tera, they got psychic power. That's why they could fly in the air. So what happened to the other 2? Samanera and the layman got hold of the legs of those Tera lah. Then only Tongpang them, you know, to Sri Lanka. So in the Mahawangsa, all these a lot of these some of these are facts, some of them are interesting legendary stories are mixed together lah. So never mind. I just name the source for this third councils. You can only find the content, the detail in these 2 texts. That's why scholars say that this third council only recognized or belongs to Theravada. It's an internal council meeting. It did not represent, it did not consider as a meeting open to all the Buddhist community. Okay, one thing. Maybe in the past, you all don't know, third council, that means represent everybody, every Buddhist school. No, only Theravada. Unlike first council, second council. Okay, that's different because open to all the Sangha member. They talk about the legality, valid or not, this Vinaya rule or not, true or not, open to all to discuss. But third is different. Third council is strictly confined to the Theravada monks. Because the text never say Bhikkhuni, just say Arahant attended. So third council was held in Pataliputta, present-day Patna, capital of Magadha Kingdom. Sorry, after Magadha should be Asoka's Maurya Empire. It's a capital of Maurya Empire. It was 3rd century BC. The time was Asoka's period. Okay. Third council was held during the 3rd century BCE, before Common Era. That's during the Maurya Empire, under King Asoka. Yeah, King Asoka, true. The 3rd emperor of Maurya Empire. Okay. Asoka's reign, yeah, correct. The venue place, Asoka Rama, one of the biggest Buddhist vihara built by King Asoka in the capital city, Pataliputta. So, why? First thing we must know, regarding meeting, we always find out the causes. Why? Where? I know. Inform you where, when, and what happened, procedure, and the result, how, or something like that lah. Then only there's an approach for you to study all these council, you see. So meeting was sponsored or patronized under the patronage of King Asoka, you see. First thing we must know why, causes. Because during Asoka's time, he supported not only the Buddhist community, not Buddhist monk, not only Buddhist. He also supported Ajivaka, the ascetics, Jains, as well as other group of ascetics, you see. So it's fair to all. This information is proven and given, inscribed on the rock edicts on the pillar erected by Asoka. He says that not only he supported the Buddhist monk, he also built one cave temple near the Pataliputta, one of the earliest temple for the Ajivaka. So from there, people know that he supported various groups. So the thing because of his generosity, but he emphasized on Buddhist monk because he supported Buddhist monk more. So offer dana, build temple, so much so that a lot of those unknown ascetics, small group, nobody supported them, you see. So no choice. They want to have a chef, free staying, free makan. So all of them are disguised as a Buddhist monk, shave the head, put on saffron robe, and they came inside the Asoka Rama, pretending to be a Buddhist monk, because they want to enjoy all the free alms food, this and that, free lodging, you see. So Asoka Rama was more or less occupied by those ascetics to the extent that for 7 years, no uposatha ceremony was held. Every 2 weeks, as I told you, fortnight normally they have to gather in the Sima. Those say without a temple and building, they depends on the region, correct or not. Later they have what we call permanent structures, monastery. For example, in this case, Asoka Rama, so they allocated a room, a space, and make it a Sima, right or not? So for 7 years, this Asoka Rama, the monk in Asoka Rama, they never met in the Sima and chanted the Uposatha, chanted the Vinaya rule. 7 years. So people complain and complain. Then the chief monk there, Moggalliputta Tissa, the name I always confuse. Moggallana. Moggalliputta Tissa. So you and the monk also got fed up. So he left lah. No IC. So don't want to stay with those what we call heretic monk in Asoka Rama, the very famous temple built by Asoka. So as an abbot or chief monk there, he left because of the all the non-Buddhist bogus monk came in and mixed with a genuine monk. So Asoka got the news. He knew about it. Here I didn't mention the story was that he sent a minister to the Vihara and investigated, you see, and found, and due to argument or misunderstanding, a lot of this monk there, whether bogus or not, have been killed by the officer, the soldiers. You see, then Asoka was degraded. You see, he went to look for this Pataliputta Tisa, asked him to come and in charge of the temple again. You see, so Pataliputta Tisa agreed to come back. Then Asoka, together with Asoka, they try to cleanse, purify the Sangha in the temple. Because Tisa say, told Asoka the reason why he left, because a lot of these outsiders, so-called heretical monk, not pure, not the genuine Buddhist monk here. So first thing to do is purify the Sangha. No. So they call all the monks in the temple there. In fact, here they say in the temple should be in the kingdom, in the city lah. Understanding in the city lah, for Pataliputta lah. So start one by one, interview them. How they interview? Here I didn't mention. They ask a question. You see, they ask a question. Here I didn't ask you. I didn't mention how they purify, how they interview, how they find out, or how they determine whether the monk is genuine or bogus monk. So they ask one question. Pataliputta Tisa one. They ask one by one, the monk, come, your turn. Tell me what's the teaching of, the question is, what's the teaching of Buddha? It looks simple. So answer, what answer expected by Pataliputta Tisa? So he expected the monk to say that, oh, Buddha belongs, teaching was Vibhajavada means distinctionist. That is the genuine Buddha's teaching, you see. That's the right answer according to Pataliputta Tisa. So some monk give a wrong answer. So Asoka and the Pataliputta Tisa say, wrong, you are bogus monk. Get out, give you white cloth. Not you, white cloth. This rope, a piece of white cloth, cabut. Cannot stay in the temple because you give a wrong answer. You're not a genuine Buddhist monk, you say. But here I think I don't explain the meaning of Vibhajavada. I will reserve it later when I talk about the 18th school next week, 2 weeks later. Then only the concept of Vibhajavada later. So during Asoka's time, if you say what was the Buddha's teaching, the real answer was Vibhajavada. So those monks give wrong answers, or asked to be disrobed, give them white cloth, cabut, cannot stay in the temple, cannot put on yellow robes, you see. So in these ways, a lot of genuine monks remain. wrong answer considered as bogus monk, fake monk, ask them to leave. So in this ways, Sangha in Asoka Rama in particular was considered purified. First step, this is an introduction, the beginning part of the third council. So after that, Asoka and Chief Monk Pataliputta Tissa decided to call a meeting. They say, oh, now the monk all pure already. Then only a pure monk will come and meet together as something to chant or to clarify. So there's a reason for calling a third Buddhist council. Okay. So they call a third council, the so-called third council, because earlier on we have first council said, not Asoka, remember, not Asoka, call it a third council. Asoka and Pataliputta never say, oh, this council is considered as third council. No, it's the modern people call it a third council. One thing you have to remember, you say, no. This so-called meeting, proper meeting. Now scholar look back, so many meeting. Oh, then they say, oh, that is the first time, second time, this is the third time. That's a modern scholars classification. Okay. First they have to clarify, Otherwise, say, oh, Asoka make it call this a third council. That's not correct. You see. Some technical things, minor things you have to be careful also. So they call a meeting, which the modern scholar call it a third council. Okay, the meeting attended by 1,000 Arahant. It's according to the Mahavamsa, 1,000 and presided by, of course, Pataliputta Tissa as a chairman of the meeting. You see, so proceeding. Of course, they have to verify and confirm the teaching, then chanting. There's a normal procedure. You see, Pataliputta questioned the remaining monk on this. Okay, this one I discussed already. Dhamma Vinaya were decided in a meeting. They recite the correct version of, so-called correct version of Sutta and Vinaya. Okay, and at the end of the meeting, this one you have to be careful, be mindful. At the end of the meeting took few months, it seems few months. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 9 months or something like that. This one you have to check again. At the end of the meeting, you have to know the result. That's important. The last text of the Pali Abhidhamma Pitaka, that's called Katawatu, was compiled by Pataliputta Tissa, because it seems that at the end of the text, his name was mentioned. And according to the Mahavamsa, it's black and white stated that at the end of the meeting, Katawatu was compiled. And Katawatu is one of the 7 texts of Pali or Theravada's Abhidhamma. So it shows that this is one of the evidence, scholars say, proof that at least not all the Abhidhamma texts were compiled during Buddha's time. Right now, because it's already black and white mentioned in Mahavamsa that Katawatu was compiled after the meeting by, the name also mentioned, Pataliputta Tissa. So historical, we safely can quote this, that quote the fact that, oh, not all the Abhidhamma texts were compiled during Buddha's time. This is one of the good evidence already. So that one is, we don't mention, we just, what is the result of this third council? First, compilation of Katawatu, the last text of Pali Abhidhamma or Theravada's Abhidhamma, number one. Second thing, the first time in the Theravada's history that Tipitaka was considered as finalized and closed. First time finalized. Because by now you have Sutta already, right? And Sutta and Vinaya since the first council, correct or not? So third council you have a complete Abhidhamma because it mentioned Katawatu in the last text of Abhidhamma. It shows that Abhidhamma Pitaka also completed or closed, finalized. The whole Pitaka finalized at the end of this meeting, correct or not? That means at the end of the meeting, we say that Pali Tipitaka has been officially finalized. This is the second conclusion. Okay. So this is at least two important results of the meeting. Third, 9 months. The meeting lasted for 9 months. At the end of meeting, they have to decide Tipitaka. So 9 months. So after the meeting, all this I mentioned, Sangha purify those who attended meeting, all pure, genuine Buddhist monk. And then compilation of Katawatu, Abhidhamma Pitaka was completed. The three collection Tipitaka, even though the term are not mentioned, but from the result, you can say that three collection have been finalized or available to people at that time. Okay. So after that's a simple meeting with a few results. But then, according to Sri Lanka's Mahawangsa again, he says immediately after the meeting, the council, meeting here refer what we call it third council, you see, for convenience sake, you see. After the third council, the Mahawangsa mentioned again, Asoka sent the 9 Buddhist mission to spread the Dharma, not only within his empire in India, also outside India. 9 missions. There are at least few important missions. One group, later when we talk about Asoka, then we mention details. But here I just mentioned at least 3 important groups. One group led by Marantika went to Northwest India. Nowadays they call it Pakistan, the area. So that's why later Buddhism prosper in Gandhara, Kashmir, the area, Northwest India. Another group, important one, Mahinda and his group went to Sri Lanka after the council. Another group went, Sona and another group of monks went to Suvarna Bhumi. They never call it Burma at that time. The text says Suvarna Bhumi. Where Suvarna Bhumi? We discuss later because Burma also say, in Burma, Lower Burma. Thailand say in Milan Chao Phraya Basin. And late Bante Damaninda, Brickfield. You know it, Juliana Damaninda. His thesis, he say, Malaysia Peninsula also included, also known as Suvarna Bhumi. And latest theory, Peter Skilling, Peter Skilling, professor in Chulalongkorn University, quite a well-known professor. He said the whole Southeast Asia, including Sumatra, known as also called Suwana Bumi, because Suwana, gold, Bumi, land of gold. But those days, in Malay Peninsula also full of gold, Sumatra also gold, not only Burma and Thailand, correct? So that issue, we don't talk in details, because what I want to tell you is, after the meeting, Asoka sent 9 missions to spread the Dharma, not only within India, outside India also. So important in the history, one group led by Mahinda to Sri Lanka. So that's one of the greatest piece of history. Buddhism spread to officially, use the word officially, spread to Sri Lanka. Because before that, you cannot say before Mahinda, none of the Sri Lankan knew about the Buddhist teaching, because Theravada was very strong, very popular in South India, even before Mahinda went there. You know, the teaching of 18th school, I tell you. Before Mahinda officially went to Sri Lanka, there were a lot of these Theravada Buddhists already in Tamil, Pandya, those southern tips of India, those places, very close to Sri Lanka. So people believe that earlier, before Mahinda, people already, there were contacts here and there, and people knew about Buddhism. It's only make it official, after Third Council, Mahinda went there. So credit given to him. So the version of the Buddhist text, the Tipitaka, introduced by Mahinda and a group to Sri Lanka, was the version taken after the Third Council. That's what people believe. So Mahinda went to Sri Lanka and he introduced those teachings as compiled and finalized after the council. That was the version there. But of course, there are a lot of arguments that we don't discuss here. So for the result of the Third Council, Sangha purified, no more bogus monk, all these are mixed with a genuine monk. Second, the last text of Abhidhamma was compiled. That means the collection of Abhidhamma have been finalized already. With the finalization of Abhidhamma Pitaka collection, the whole Tipitaka considers finalized. That's first time finalized. Of course, after this Third Council, still a lot of texts, spread from India to Sri Lanka. And the one where I will discuss with you about the Pali literature. It doesn't mean that the Third Council over the teaching, the monk who decided all the Tipitaka during the Third Council, those teaching 100% sent to Sri Lanka, and what we learn today or follow the version. Historical is not the way. That means even, that's why I use a term, the scholar use a first time finalized. Because after that, first time, after that, people add in some more, maybe second time. But this is the first finalized, first final version now, we call it. Hey, no more. So Third Council is very short, simple. Purified, few stages. First thing, infiltration of bogus monk, purification of the Sangha in Pataliputta, calling a Third Council. At the end of the Third Council, Tipitaka completed because Abhidhamma completed. 3 Pitaka completed, and Buddhist mission sent by Asoka to various places. So this is a summary of the third council. Anything? This one simple compared to a second. Any questions? Half an hour, very fast. This one short.
So, but yeah, you said that in the Asoka pillar, there's no evidence that of this third Buddhist council, right?
Yeah.
But it was held during the King Asoka's reign.
Yes, yes.
So it's a bit
It's a
strange,
late
right?
Asoka's period.
A bit strange, right? That there's
Yeah.
no record.
When I say Asoka never inscribed this third council, I'm not saying that Asoka never mentioned sending Buddhist mission. We have to be very careful. These two are different issue, you know. He may send a Buddhist mission long before this. But what I mean, the meeting itself, he never inscribed.
Not inscribed.
Before that, he sent, you are aware, in Asoka sent all the Dharma spread to Syria, to Greek, to Middle East, correct or not? That one everyone also know. This part inscribed in the Asoka's edict, considered as strong archaeological evidence.
Okay.
But third council, 9 mission, he never mentioned. Only in Mahavamsa, textual evidence, but not archaeological evidence. There are so many types of evidence. You have to be careful. Well, I'm not saying that Asoka never spread Buddhism and never record this in the edicts, you know. He recorded, but nothing to do with the third council.
Okay. And so this third council, it was recorded in Mahavamsa.
Mahavamsa only.
Also,
yes,
but then it talked about Abhidhamma as well, right?
Yes, also in
so
the
then you don't know how accurate is that
they want to consider okay lah, you accept it lah, because we have Abhidhamma already. You cannot say only modern day come out, but it must have come out sometime after that lah, you know. What date we don't know. You see, because Sri Lanka also never mention what date, what year, like Indian, you see.
Okay, thank you, brother. Yeah.
Right. So later when we talk about Asoka, then only we mention his contribution, what he has done, what he has recorded in the edicts. I think M3, M1, M2, maybe M3 lah. You see, that one also very important, his edict. So this fourth council, I must close the third council first, correct or not? Then only I can share with the fourth council. Can see or not?
Yes.
Yes, can see, brother. Yeah.
Can,
Can.
So now after the third council, we move to fourth council. Third council strictly belongs to Theravada, the internal meeting. Because this piece of information you can never find in other sources, not in northern tradition, unlike the first council, second council, Sri Lanka records, Theravada record, Chinese record, Tibetan record, everywhere you can find. So recognized by everybody. The third council, except Theravada's record, not in the rock edict some more, in the Sri Lanka text only. So not recorded in the Indian text, Sri Lanka text only. So remember this point. Fourth council is different. There are 2 fourth council meeting. So because different school, they have their own meeting. The Theravada had, after the third council, you had another meeting. So according to scholar, we say this is Theravada's fourth council meeting. Then other Buddhist school, Theravada, also they conduct their own meeting. I mean, historically, we also recognize that it's a Buddhist meeting. So we say fourth council, we have two meetings according to history. But according to Theravada's point of view, their fourth meeting in Sri Lanka, that's separate. They won't recognize other schools meeting. So from our historical perspective, we try to tell you everything. There are two meetings known as Fourth Buddhist Council. Okay, one is Theravada's own meeting held in Sri Lanka, Fourth Council. Another one is by meeting conducted by Sarasivada in Northwest India. So two Fourth Council. So when we talk about the Fourth Council or the Theravada first. Fourth Council mentioned in, again, Sri Lanka's chronicle, Dipawangsa and Mahawangsa. You hardly find any rock edicts or archaeological evidence regarding this Theravada's Fourth Council. Another evidence, the Thai chronicles, they also briefly mention about this Fourth Council. I say Thai. So only these two sources. So Fourth Council meeting of Theravada tradition was held in Sri Lanka, of course, at Theravada. After the third, then they have another meeting. So scholars say, oh, that third one, Pataliputta. So this one later than that, also Fourth Council. That's the way they record this. You see, those say, as you know, Sri Lanka, the South Indian, so many times, occasion, attack, invaded Sri Lanka, especially the northern Sri Lanka. That time the capital was known as Anuradhapura, right? The first capital of ancient Sri Lanka. Always invaded, attacked by the South Indian, especially Tamil. Tamil always, for so many times, on and off. That's why nowadays a lot of Indian, you can see a lot of Tamil, they live in Sri Lanka, because their ancestor came from South India, you see. So the war, very frequent, had wars, few hundred years. Due to war, the invasion of Tamils from South India, there were famine, of course. This war lasted for many, many years, 100 years or something like that. So not few months, that's why they have problem with famine, shortage of food, and then people die of the diseases spread everywhere. So in the ancient capital, Anuradhapura. Yeah. There's the first capital, Anuradhapura, in the northern side. When you go to Sri Lanka pilgrimage, you have to visit this, because a lot of Buddhist holy places, like Mihintale, the place that Mahinda landed, all there. Mahinda Stupa, all these are there. So the first capital, the time, famine, food. So the monks in the temple, the Theravada's biggest vihara called Mahavihara, the first Buddhist temple built in the capital for Mahinda and the monk to stay. That was the first capital called Mahavihara. So the monk of Mahavihara worried, if this thing goes on, because a lot of monks, they got no food. they depend on public to offer alms food, right? No? So people got shortage of food, no food, shortage, people all escape, ran away. So they got problem to find food, you see. So they worry teaching will be lost. Monk also, a lot of people refuse to become monk. They left the country already. So what decision they make? Sangha worry practice, culture, and teaching will be lost. And the text says there was one text, Theravada, one of the texts in the Kudaka Nikaya. Only one monk in the whole country knew how to memorize, because still based on oral transmission, memorization and oral transmission. During that period, warring period, only one monk knew one of the texts, That's why they worry what happened if this monk passed away. Then what he knew, what he had memorized, lost. You see, so they have decided to call meeting, think away. So at first, this meeting was initiated by the monk from Mahavihara, as I told you, the biggest, the well-known Theravada Vihara in the capital. So they initiated this, we might get together, then decide what to do. They must stay and memorize, think of a way to preserve the teaching. So the meeting, they decided not to be held in Mahavihara, in Anuradhapura, because under fighting, a lot of soldiers, no food, nothing. So that was not a good place. So they decided the meeting to be held in Matale. Matale in the central Sri Lanka, quite hilly place. When I organized a group to Sri Lanka, we visited there. It's a very important place. A lot of people went to Sri Lanka, never consider this place. It's wrong. This is a place where the Fourth Buddhist Council was held, and it's the first time in the Buddhist history that the whole Buddhism, first time the teaching was recorded black and white. If meeting never held in this place, today you don't have the Tipitaka to read, you know how. So they held a meeting in Aloka cave. Aloka, your Aloka. Aloka cave, a lot of cave there. They call it one of the big one, they call Aloka cave. So the place, that small town, called Matale, central Sri Lanka. So the local chief patronage, just like the first council, the Ajatasattu sponsor, patronize, sponsor a home meeting. The third council in the Pataliputta, Asoka supported, patronized it. So this fourth council in Matale, so the local chief also give the support. You see, so 500 monks attended the meeting held in Matale, central Sri Lanka, not in the northern side, the Anuradhapura, the capital. The one is under Tamils attack, you see. So this hilly place, jungle, very peaceful. So 500 monks gathered there, and a meeting held by Mahatera Rakita presided the meeting. So in the meeting, everyone chant. So what they knew about this, they decided, everyone memorize. Make sure that all the teaching, everybody knew about every teaching, you see. That is the place when I organized a group, Matale. This part is considered as, I believe to be, this one to be Aloka cave. It's the biggest inside. Inside Aloka cave. And after the meeting, during the meeting, they decided all whatever sutta, whatever Vinaya, whatever the Abhidhamma, and whatever commentary during the proceeding, everybody memorize, and then they wrote down. Of course, they never use a pen, ball pen, or paper lah. They use the steel wire inscribed on the ola leaf. I will show you the ola leaf. So they inscribe on the ola leaf. It's a form of palm leaf. Written in, as you know, Mahinda came from India to Sri Lanka. He brought two types of Buddha's teaching, two types of teaching. One is Tipitaka, the other is commentary. But that type of commentary, later I tell you, is different from a modern commentary. What Mahinda came and introduced a commentary to Sri Lanka was a very basic, earliest, rudimentary form of commentary, unlike the modern commentary. You have to remember this point. That means during early time when Mahinda came, not only Tipitaka, also got some simple basic commentary already introduced. So commentary literature, in fact, has a long history. Okay, that one we leave it later. What is commentary? So after a meeting, Tipitaka, they chanted, recited, and then inscribed on the ola leaf, palm leaf. In what script? The script, of course, in the Sri Lankan script. I don't know how it looks, no example. But a language that still preserved, the so-called Pali. So-called Pali, that's why I use it, open inverted comma. Modern day, they call it Pali. At that time, they don't call it Pali. Correct or not? At that time, even the commentator, Buddha Gosa came 600 years after this meeting, then only he used the term Makadi. Correct or not? He also never used Pali. Here, that's why I use a open and close inverted comma. Tipitaka was written in Pali and the commentary in Sinhalese. Because Mahinda came the time, not in the whole book, black and white, or in the head. That's why even though we use the term, he brought the teaching from India. You don't get a wrong impression. He carry the teaching means a book form, no, all memorized in the head. Okay, so he came to Sri Lanka, and of course he repeated the same the tradition, the citation, memorization, the citation. So the Sri Lankan monk and the new monk also follow the same tradition, memorization and oral transmission until the problem crop up, the invasion, famine. Then they call a meeting. Then the monk in the Mahavihara, based on the memory, then they wrote down in script, black and white, Tipitaka in so-called Pali, okay, and commentary in Sinhalese. Because Mahinda came to Sri Lanka, he translated commentary into Sinhalese word. That time, based on memory, not black and white, I remember. Black and white only this meeting onwards. So this fourth meeting, did I tell you the 1st century BC happened? 1st century, remember, otherwise you mix up. This incident, 1st century BCE, whereas Asoka's time of Mahinda came is 3rd century BCE. Correct or not? That means after 200 years after Mahinda came to Sri Lanka, only Buddha's teaching was written down black and white. You have to remember this. So the year is very important. You just remember first century, second century enough. You can't remember 78 years or only 80 years, and they want too complicated. So remember Asoka's time, third century BCE, just now I was mentioned, Asoka's third council. So came to Sri Lanka after all the turmoil problem, they decided to write down black and white. There was first century BCE in Matale. So 200 years, people ask you how many, after how long, only written in black and white, 200 years, around 200 years. In what form and what languages? You say it's a so-called Pali. Even though the time you don't have a Pali word in their record, you see. From modern day, from convenience sake, recorded in Pali, the commentary recorded black and white in Sinhalese, because when Mahinda came, he translated only the commentary into Sinhalese. Okay, that was the first time that the teaching Buddha, at least for Theravada tradition, was written down black and white. That's how we went to Sri Lanka. That's very important. How they prepare this. You see the ora leaf, palm leaf, the black ink. They use the wire to write down. You see. You see. Something like Nepal leaf lah.
反方的打落去落個窿嗰度。得啦。是。
Some powder some more.
Oh, so that's Ola leaf lah.
Palm leaf lah, something like Nepal, you know.
Oh. Means they use a wire to write, then only they put in then they put in the ink later. Right?
Black. No, something like that lah. September 15, 2016, 19 or 16, I forgot. It's how they did lah. So nowadays you see a lot of, you know, rectangular, very long palm leaf. Use the thread to bind together, one stack in it. That is how they do it. Here they just show us a small piece. But those days, you can always see in their library, in the temple, very long, you know, a lot of wording. Then they use a thread to tie it, you see. Make one hole, two holes. Then they use a thread to go through, and then they bind it, one bundle, one text.
You can see in chief's office.
Yes.
In the glass cabinet.
So the fourth council was convened and attended by member of Savat. No, this is India one. So for Theravada's fourth council, that's how they did. In this way, all the Theravada's teaching brought by Mahinda after the third council, as well as those texts that brought after the third council. You must know, you know, even though after third council, still a lot of texts introduced to Sri Lanka. You cannot say after the council, Mahina brought the text, full stop, and our Tipitaka today follow those texts brought by Mahina. That's not correct. After that, keep coming. For example, Mirinda Panya, text was very late, and then Parivara, some of text in combined Sri Lanka. Most of the commentary that we know today combined in Mahavihara, Sri Lanka. The one we talk later. So this is a basic Tipitaka, the first version. We say first version, first finalization, first collection of Tipitaka was compiled. I mean written down in Matale during 1st century BCE. So the consequence, you know lah, Buddha's teaching have been recorded down black and white and preserved. So subsequent to this date, they have two methods, either the memorization, oral transmit. Some of them still use a new method, oral live. So two methods. After that, two methods. So until today, that's why they preserve the basic Tipitaka, basic Vinaya. Any questions? So have you been to Sri Lanka, Juliana? No. Gotcha.
Yes, I've been, but I did not go to this.
This is very
this one.
important place. After Anurula, this is
Matale.
Matale must go. That's why we went there. We only saw our group, no boat.
Is it middle?
Brother
Where is
John.
the location?
Brother John, I've been there.
Matale, but
Mm.
you went to the cave or not? Inside the
Yes.
cave lah. That one is
I've been there.
Matale, the Aloka cave. And then
Aloka.
beside Aloka cave, there's a big building, the temple.
Yeah,
People
temple.
keep all these things. Yeah.
Yes. I've been there.
You have to,
Is it
these
far
two,
from Colombo?
Huh?
Is it far from Colombo?
not very far. It's
No.
Very far lah.
in between.
So why people don't go to Matale?
In between Kandy and Dambulla.
Yeah.
In between there.
Yes.
This one near the
So-
Spice Garden. You know Spice Garden? They always bring you to Spice Garden. It's somewhere near there.
Okay.
Nearby.
Spice Garden, they sell a lot of all those sandalwood.
Yes. So
Yeah.
after Spice Garden, you have your lunch somewhere near the restaurant. Then
Yeah.
afternoon we went to this place.
Makan there.
But how many people used to go to Spice Garden buy things in all this place?
Yeah.
Okay, so nearby only.
So why normally the Sri Lanka pilgrimage they don't go to Matale? What's the reason?
Because people never study history. That's a simple thing.
But then they should
never
know
study
the
history.
fourth council, Buddhist council was held there, right?
But it was not recognized.
Even the problem with Theravada tradition, they ignore history. Even the university, what program, they don't have a history proper history.
And the place is not very nicely kept.
Yes, because
very
That's why.
very few tourists.
Very
depends
poor,
on,
very less.
Very poorly
depends on
maintained, so it's
Yeah,
not an
yeah, yeah.
attraction.
tourists to maintain the
Oh.
place, you see.
What a
This
waste.
is important. Without this meeting in this place, you don't have a Tipitaka today to read. You don't know whether you get what version. I don't know. What happened, I don't know.
No more orales written.
But their original version of Ola Leaf disappear one thing.
Correct.
Maybe they copy have a few copies. They copy again to distribute to other temple, this and that. That's why we have, but original version that they have copied down after the Matale meeting. The version, the copy not available anymore.
Very sad to see that the place
Because
very
Nobody knew. I asked so many people, you know. They know black and white written Sri Lanka. Where, when, where, which place? Don't know. You been to Sri Lanka? Yes. Have you been to Matale? They don't know. They went to Candy. Everybody look at Candy.
Yeah.
Candy.
Yeah.
Candy. That's all.
Very famous, only candy.
Candy. They promote
Yes.
Candy
Colombo.
because they don't promote a journey. It is important because without this meeting, where can you find your Tipitaka?
Yeah.
Totally different history, totally different. Yeah.
Or, Brother Yap, maybe they don't agree on this tipi.
No, it's recorded in their chronicle. It's
Is it?
Mahavangsa, yes. That's why I
Oh.
named the source. Only in the Sri Lanka chronicles. There's the most important historical record in Sri Lanka, Mahavangsa and Dipavangsa. It's two, you see. So these are all recorded there.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been there with Brother Tan.
Which Tan? So many Tan.
Tan Nalanda.
Tan Hosun, Tan Hosun.
Tan Ho Soon, yes.
Long ago already.
Very long years ago.
Long ago. Brother Tan now back to so much money.
Yeah.
Okay, any question?
With Brother Tan can learn a lot of things on
So,
Yeah.
so later you go to Sri Lanka, Juliana, you make it a point lah.
Next time I have to ask Bante Asasi because the last trip I went is with Bante Asasi.
This Arya is going to organize the pilgrimage in June because we are going to attend Samaneri's ordination after the pilgrimage.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Brother
yeah.
want to join us or not?
Upasampada.
Upasampada, yeah. Yes.
Brother, join them.
Ayah will
Ayah led by Ayah lo. Yeah.
Malalani.
Yeah.
Money, yes.
Ordination.
After that, next one.
Next one.
Anica.
Yeah.
Second one.
Juliana lah.
Yeah, not
another one.
Gianna, Sister Gianna. But we don't know lah. I mean, this all Anica lah.
Anica.
So it's like still a long way to go.
Few years you prepare.
Few years yeah. Anyway, no hurry lah, brother. Yeah, right. The important thing is practice cultivation. Whether you're in the rope or not, can still practice.
Yeah, correct.
3. Third council. What else? No more. Then we go to the Savastivada's 4th council. So Theravada's 4 councils we have completed. So no question yet. So now we talk about the 5. We stop first lah. 5:06 already for few minutes. After all, we have only one short topic, 3 slices, very fast. 5:30 we can finish all. 10 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. 10 minutes.
Pause recording.
Pause recording.